Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 26. This is a very special one as we have S.L Rockfish from English Makes No Sense with us today. She has I would say almost a million followers on TikTok because it's almost
Oh,
there.
almost.
Uh, and she's helped a lot of people to improve their English through tips on social media. And she's the coolest, happiest educator you'll see out there. So thank you, SL Rockfish, for being with us. I appreciate you accepting the invitation.
Oh, thank you for having me. And that's quite an introduction. I appreciate it. I'll take the happiest, coolest. We'll see. I'll work on that. But yeah, thank you. It's great. Great to be here, Andre. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. So, who are you?
I am just, I'm a teacher by day and by night. I've been teaching for, boy, 18 years
18
in the
years.
public school system here in Wisconsin, and I started doing TikTok videos during when the world shut down during COVID in March 13th ish of 2020, and then it just started because I had nothing to do, so I started making some videos, and then it became like a habit. So I'm a teacher, I'm a mom, and I'm a grandma. So life is good.
Yes, absolutely. So you said you're a teacher at day and at night. So you teach English at the public school system. You teach English online on social media with tips for people around the world. And
Yes.
you also teach English at night. Is that right?
Yes. Well, early in the morning, I teach. I work for a company, just very part time, doing ESL, and then I go to my local public school where I teach seventh and eighth graders and all subjects, but mainly reading and writing and math. And then I come home and think, what kind of videos could I make? And then I just weird things come up during the day. I'm like, you know what? I could make that into a video. So
That's
I don't
awesome.
really have a real order to my video making, and that's what I have to work on. But yeah, that's what I do. It's a hobby and it's fun. So it
That's
works.
awesome. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you have to work on it, on creating an order for the videos because it's working. So keep that
Yeah.
way. It's going good.
Thank you. Yeah, it just things just pop up when people say, "Hey, could you should plan it." I try, but then you're watching TV and you're like, I bet you other people don't know what that means. Like what we were just talking about for things costing an arm and a leg. Like where does that come from and how would that make sense? So then we became with nothing in English makes sense. For every rule, there is an exception.
So
There
come
you
on,
go.
English.
There you go. That's how it works.
And that's awesome. And you've been teaching for 18 years. It's a
Yeah.
long time. And do you consider teaching a mission for you? And if so, how did you find it out? How did you find out that you like teaching and that you can help people through that?
Well, let's see. Before I was a teacher, so I didn't start teaching until I was later in life, in my 30s. So that'll tell you how old I am. Um, and so my mom was a first grade school teacher and then she had to take a different job to help support the family, and she always liked being a teacher. And then I went to college and I was like, I should be a teacher. But then I don't know, there was something going on. I was like, no, just let me graduate. And I got out and I didn't do anything with my degree for a long time. I was a bartender, a waitress, a gardener, a landscaper. And then I went down to the Virgin Islands and worked at a resort there for a couple of years. And then um, I just decided they were having a program in the city where it said if you wanted an alternative certification course to be a teacher. And I was like, that's what I want. I want to be a teacher because I always wanted to do that. And I wanted really summers off. I was going to have kids. I wanted summers off with my kids. And so, yeah, so then it became, that was the fun part of the job. And then I just love it. So I come home from teaching my teaching day job, and then I come home to and think of fun ways to teach. And people say, well, you don't have to make a video. Yeah, I kind of do, because now it's become part of my daily routine. So if I don't do it, I'm like, oh, I forgot to do it. And I have to run upstairs and do it because I'm up in the attic of my house. This whole
Oh, I
little,
see.
so yeah. And I try to do them. And it's just, is it a mission? I suppose it's just lots of fun. And if you can find a job that's fun, that you enjoy doing, and that you do even if you don't have to, it's a win.
Yes, I mean, and especially now with technology, you can just reach people all over the planet.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's the other part. So it's fun. And I've had a great time hearing. So when I go on Instagram Live or TikTok Live, hear from people all over the world. And then on YouTube channel, I've gotten people from as far away as Iraq, Nepal. It's just amazing. The reach is crazy. Like, it's so now it's more fun. I like to see, I used to keep a list of all the countries I heard from, but now I just like, it's, to me, I'm old enough that this whole thing that I can talk to you in Brazil like we're just next door is still the most amazing thing to me. Because
Yes. Like sometimes I think about it, like 200 years ago, I don't think people thought would be able to do it. And how amazing it is. Like we share knowledge. I mean, we can develop a friendship from thousands of miles away. It's just
yeah.
amazing.
Hmm. Okay, so so my children don't find it as amazing as I. But when I was a kid, we took pictures on a camera, and then we had to take the film out, run it to the store, and wait 2 weeks to get it. And then you had to pay for pictures you didn't even like. And then it's like a sucky picture, sucky picture. All right, it was $8 for 2 pictures. Great. Um, and then talking to people, my parents would never let us call someone that was a long distance phone call because it was so much money. I mean, the fact that we can talk to each other, you're in another country, and it costs us nothing to do this. That's mind blowing. There's another saying, mind blowing.
Mind blowing. That's true. It is mind blowing. Uh, and it's so interesting because, as you said, like it costs us nothing. And I feel like those are some of the benefits of technology, especially when it comes to teaching and learning. We can
Yes.
teach people anywhere and we can learn from people from anywhere, which is amazing.
Yeah. So I've learned more about Brazil from you and another friend who I met through the internet, my friend Paloma, and she's from Brazil, and another woman from Brazil, Renata. So 3 people who have reached out to me through technology, through Instagram, and um, I'm it's just so cool to learn from other people who are actually in the country. Like I could open the book and go, oh, that is amazing. But talking to you, hearing about soccer, and talking to Paloma about hearing about the countryside, it's just, yeah,
Yeah.
it's great. And it's like some people say, there's too much technology in the world. Yeah, but there's some really, really good things that come from it, and social media.
Yes. I mean, I feel like everything in life will have the pros and the cons.
Yeah,
We'll have to we'll always have to have a filter when using anything. I mean, anything
right.
can be good or bad, but I totally agree with you. There are just so many things that come out, good things that come out of it.
Yeah, so it's amazing.
Yeah. And I have a question on how do you keep such a high energy level in your communication in videos? How are you so happy all the time?
That's a tough. People ask me that all the time. Um, because I'm the youngest of 7 kids. So anytime you got something as a kid, you're like, yes, like, And now I mean, I have good health. I've got a great job. I got a great family. I have amazing friends. I got a place to live. I mean, if you have those things in life, there's nothing wrong. I mean, sure, there's some things that are wrong, but nobody needs to know all that. It's just, this is a great job and a great time to be alive. So why not enjoy it? I mean,
That
I love teaching. I love words. My parents were really big on words. Like as a kid, they never used little words. They would always use big words, and they'd be like, "Oh, look it up." Like, I don't know how to look it up. I don't have it. And then, so my parents loved reading, and they loved to make us expand our vocabulary. And then, like say, I got a really nice family. And also the benefits of being the youngest is your older siblings spoil you. As much as they pick on you, they spoil you too.
yeah,
So I've had a great run at life, and it keeps getting better as I get older.
that's
So
awesome.
yeah, why
And
not be happy?
yeah, just be happy.
There you
I
go.
agree with you.
And if you
And
like what you do, that's the icing on the cake.
another one,
There you go. See
icing on the
there,
cake.
that's the icing, and I love icing. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. I feel like we've already covered like 4 or 5 expressions here
There you go.
without
See,
planning it.
every moment.
Yeah. And do you feel like this positivity that you have and this optimism, happiness influences your teaching for good?
Yeah, absolutely. Because if you go into a classroom, we've all been in school, and the teacher's up there and they're talking like this and they're really depressed, and you're just like,
Come on.
right. You don't pay attention. Teachers are the worst. If the person who is presenting to us is boring, we start writing each other notes. We do everything we don't want our students to do. We um we if our phone is out, we start looking at our phone. When we try to do it like this, like the kids, like nobody's seeing. Um,
Like,
and so if you're in a classroom or presenting to anyone and you're talking like this, or you're really mad, it comes through. You can't fake, like you can't hide it, or you should hide it. But like if you come in, there's nothing good's gonna come out of that class. Kids aren't gonna learn. If you're in a bad mood, the air just goes. Here's another saying: the air gets sucked right out of the room. Like nobody wants to be there. So yeah, and I've been in classes as a kid, and you're just like, did they go out too late last night? Were they, drinking too heavy? Like you just look at a teacher and you're like, you
something is off.
right. Or they're really mad because the other class did something, and you walk in and like, it wasn't us. So I try not to carry things over to the next class. And for doing videos, I'm loving doing the videos. Sometimes I get mad, like if I've messed up the same line 30 times. But then I'm just like, oh my God, you're the dumbest, Sarah. Because I don't know how to edit. So I have to do everything in one take. And so it's just, sometimes I fill up my whole iCloud because I've used all the takes. So then I have to go through and delete. But yeah, it's just, one, I enjoy it. Two, if you don't love it, the kids aren't going to love it, or whoever you're teaching is going to be like, well, I could get this out of a book. And I don't want you to get it out of a book. I want you to get it from me. So, and I like to make people laugh, and I like to laugh. So it's a natural, because you can't tell a good joke with a sad face. I mean,
Unless you're the Joker.
there you go. Then he's a little twisted.
Yeah. Yeah, but I love what you said. Like you could get it out of an English book, but I want you to get it from me.
Right.
Like I won't have the pleasure of teaching you, and I don't think all the teachers get it that way. Sometimes it's more like I'm doing you a favor of teaching you something, so please pay attention. But when we get teaching as a gift, it's more like it'll be a pleasure if you learn something from me. Like I'll be happy to do it.
Yes. Well, when you said I'm doing you a favor, so I remember when I first started teaching way back, and I was a kind of new teacher, very new, like my first year, so brand new. And another teacher was about my age, and we were both coming in later in the career. And he said to a young lady, she was probably in 5th grade. He said she was misbehaving and she was just talked a lot and she was giving a lot of attitude to him. And he said, I quit my job to do you a favor. And the little girl didn't miss a beat. She said, I didn't ask you to do me a favor. And I was like, right there, I was like, yep, you're absolutely right. Nobody's asked you to help me out.
That was a hard one on him.
Yeah. So I never look at it as I'm doing you a favor. I look at it as you're doing me a favor for showing up. And it's like if you go to a restaurant, you don't want to go to a restaurant and get a so-so meal. Like, hey, let's go there. We're going to get a so-so meal. No, you want to go, I'm going to go to that restaurant because they have a great meal. And English, like I have an English book. Look, I have a prop. An English book is boring. When you tell a kid, get out your English book, nobody wants to get out their English book.
Yeah, like for real, come on.
Right. Oh, we're going to work on periods today. Oh, they don't want to do that. So
Yes.
you have to make it somewhat fun.
Yeah, and I feel like especially nowadays when we have literally like thousands and thousands of people out there teaching all kinds of things. I feel the same way when somebody takes the time to watch something I created or to add a comment, to share, because I mean, they could have been sharing, commenting, posting, or reposting anybody else, but they chose to support us. So
Right.
that's such a good feeling.
It's great. And then even when people, like I've had people say, you got that wrong. And they send like what I call a snarky comment, like they're trying to put you in your place and correct you, but not in a nice way. You know how as a teacher, you correct people in a nice way, but they're like, oh, this is stupid. Why would, and I just say, you know what? Thanks for your comments. Thanks for watching. Because if you have that kind of mentality that you're going to take time out of your day to tell somebody they did a crappy job, then your day is not so good. Like there's a million other things you could do than tell somebody that they're terrible.
Yes. And I feel like, for me at least, it feels like when people have the need to tell the other they're not good enough or they haven't done in the best possible way or whatever, like comment that's not to help, I feel like it talks more about themselves than the content they are consuming.
Yeah.
Because like the question would be, okay, I got it wrong, but what are you doing?
Yeah. Other than telling me that I got it wrong.
You know, like
Yeah.
are you doing something or are you just criticizing?
Yes. And then on the flip side, you have people who do videos or post stuff on social media like we do. And then when you get a comment, they just count the comments and keep moving. They don't send a comment back. Like think about someone took time out of their busy day on the flip side and letting you know that they like what you did. They don't know you. They don't have to leave you a comment. That's amazing. It's like, absolutely, I'm going to respond. Like, thank you. Even an emoji, just to let them know that they didn't waste their time letting you know that you did a good job. Because we all like to hear we did a good job. Look, I got a big
Yes.
thumb. We all like that, a big thumbs up.
Thumbs up. That's a good one. I remember first time I watched your videos, I entered on TikTok to post something on English. And then, welcome to another video on English makes no sense. And I had to watch that. And that was just amazing. Like your energy, your happiness, and the way you explain things. I loved it. And I feel, I don't know, maybe next day I entered on TikTok again and you popped up again. I was
Yeah.
like, she has lots of videos. So I went into your profile and I saw all of those nice videos. And I thought, is she on Instagram? And then I found you on Instagram and I DM'd you. That's when I reached out. I don't know how to reach out to people on TikTok. So I reached out to you on Instagram just because what you make added so much value for me. Just on regards to positivity, optimism, happiness, and being nice. I like doing what you do. So thank you for that.
Oh,
And
well, thank you. Yeah, I'm glad you did reach out. That was awesome because you've taught me a lot about Instagram and other things and how to, play around with it. Because I've just been, when you do something, so last year was just doing it for fun to see what happens. And so now I have a better idea. So I'm so glad that you reached out because it's been great.
yeah,
And you've helped me out a lot as well. But yeah, the videos, that's the other thing. Like I couldn't make a sad video because, what, why bother? Like,
yeah, that's
um,
true.
it's English, and I mean, somebody asked me if I'd run out of ideas. I was like, no, because you can't run out of words. There's always another way to do it.
Yeah,
And if I look through, I have a couple that are repeats, but every time I do it, it's a different look at it, and that helps me too because I take this what I'm doing on Instagram and TikTok and I see what works. And then when I go back to my school, when school's back in session, when I have to teach that skill, I teach it the way that I got the best response on social media, if that makes sense.
mm, okay.
Because,
So you get what
kids,
you learned on social media and apply it
right.
on classroom.
Yes. And then, because kids, our information is like this now. They have the attention span of maybe 10 minutes if we're lucky. And if you don't get that lesson to them like that, they're lost because they get on their phone and boom, 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 and they just see stuff all the time. And if I come in and go, all right, today we're going to talk about phrasal verbs, they'll be like, what? Yes, phrasal verbs are. No, you gotta go, boom, get it done, and then they're like, oh, I think I know one, and then you're like, yeah, let's try. So you try to do it quick.
That's
'Cause,
amazing. So you create a good environment where they can try, where they can explore what you explained. And it's not a lecture type of thing. It's more like a debate, talking
yeah,
kind of lesson.
you can talk it over, talk with your friend. Um, and you've been in those classes where it's so boring your feet go to sleep. It's like
Yeah.
I took a poetry class in college and they kept going on and on about iambic pentameter. I have no idea to this day what that is. And I've spent good money to sit there and be bored. So I try not to make it boring.
That's true. And you're doing a great job in it. It's not
Oh,
boring at all, and it's very enjoyable to watch. And how did you come up with the name? English makes no sense.
um, I was working on something in the basement. I was like, I should make another video because I wasn't sure if I could do anything after the first one. And I was like, the OUGH. Then it was first. So I did that very first one, and I gave it the title English Makes No Sense. And then I ended the video with why English why. And then so I was like OUGH. You have the long O sound, the like in tough and rough, and then though and thorough and all those different pronunciations. And then I ended it with like why English why. And I was like, well, that's stupid. Why don't I just put it English Makes No Sense, make that the name of the videos, and then everything that's confusing about English, which is everything. And most native speakers, like a friend of mine, I'd put a video about gerunds up. I can't tell you what a gerund was until I looked it up again. Like, oh yeah, that. So we don't know the mechanics of it, but we know we need them.
Yes, that's very true. And you know a thing, in other countries, for people that learn English as a second language, they teach based on the structure alone. So it's pretty much like you got a textbook. They tell you what is the simple present, simple past, simple future, present progressive, present, I mean,
Yeah.
past progressive and future progressive. And they teach you like all the mechanics, but you don't get to try it. So a lot of people know everything about English, but can't communicate like at all. They can't talk. They know the rules, but they can't speak English.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. When I took Spanish in college, that's when I learned more about English because just what you said, we had to do the past, present, imperfect, past, present, perfect. I was like, I had no idea what they were. And I was like, who's quam
You're like,
perfecto?
really?
So, yeah, so you do when you're tearing, it's kind of like deconstructing a language to learn how it's built. But when you're having a conversation, that never comes up.
Yes. So, what do you think about this teaching method, grammar based, that most countries use to teach English?
Ah, well, that we do that for foreign languages here too. Um, it works for the mechanics, but like I know some of the mechanics of Spanish, but I'm not confident to have a conversation in Spanish. So I guess we have to do a better job of integrating because
Okay.
I would say a half and half kind of thing. Because if you know all the mechanics, like I know how to put together a car, but I don't know how to drive, then what's the point?
Yeah,
So, I mean, I might as well get on the subway if I had a subway.
that's true.
Yeah.
That's
So,
awesome. And if you could leave a message to non-native speakers all over the place, um, and one thing about non-native speakers is that sometimes we get afraid of trying. We get like a lack of confidence when speaking. We fear judgment. We worry about accent, about what other people will say. All these kind of things come out in non-native speakers' mind. So if you could leave a message to non-native speakers, what would you say?
my message would be don't lose heart. Keep trying, practice, have fun with it, and don't worry about your accent because you're miles ahead of everyone else if you're learning a second language. I mean, everyone knows one language, but not everyone knows two languages. And some people know three, four. How many languages do you know, Andre?
I I do. I know Portuguese, English, and some Spanish.
See, so you're ahead. Think of the Pope Francis knows what, five languages? That's
Yeah,
amazing
I
to me.
think so.
Um, Fun fact about our former First Lady, Melania Trump. She knew five languages. Like whatever you think about her, five languages is a lot.
Yeah,
So who cares what they're like? I think you're winning if you know if you're learning the second one or the third one. But if you're practicing it too, like here's everyone that knows one language. You are practicing a language, you just keep going up because one, you're more marketable if you're looking for a job. Two, your options to travel have exploded. And I mean, we can all travel, but we can have more confidence and be more daring. And um, people, I don't know where if this is worldwide, but in America, people love people with accents. Like all my friends in college, like if a guy had an accent, he was like, "Oh, yeah, I want to get to know him." And I don't know if that's like that in other countries, but there are some really nice accents out there, and women would be just like, "Oh, yeah," and same with men too. Um, and it's just, gosh, if you're non-native speaker, just keep going because you're winning. Like just
that's
trying,
awesome.
yeah, just trying. Like, and I should take my own advice because I know Spanish, but I don't speak Spanish that often. So I'm gonna try. How about
I
that?
got it. Yeah, that's a good plan. And what you said about accent, so interesting because in other countries, like if somebody from the US or is learning Portuguese and they come down here in Brazil, everybody's so supportive. We help. We we like it. We like the accent. We like to talk to them, to interact, to help. But the weirdest thing for me is that when somebody's learning English, Brazilians, and I bet in any other country, it works the same. People from the country are so judgmental on them, like, oh, you missed the preposition. Like, for real.
Then you should just say, you know what? I'm glad that you know what a preposition is, but I'm still working on it. Like,
Yes, that's a good way to go.
yeah, say thanks for pointing that out, and I'm gonna the next time I won't, and just keep it moving. Because again, like they wanna, I don't understand. Like if they said it in a helping way, like, hey, that was a great sentence, but you might want to put this in, that would
Mhm.
be one way. But if they say, oh, you missed that, then you're like, okay, but I was at least trying. I think here in the United States, like we have different regional accents.
Mhm.
Like I'm in Wisconsin and people say we say Wisconsin. I don't hear it, but if you go to other parts of the country, they do. They say we have accents. You know, there's a Southern accent for sure,
Yeah,
and some of
Texan.
them are, yeah, some of them are real a deep Southern accent, and some of them are just a little bit. My husband's from New York, and he can switch on that New York accent when he gets to New York, and then when he's here in the Midwest, he's just, a Midwestern accent. So accents are cool. And if you make mistakes while practicing a language, then good for you. Next time you'll fix it. Big deal.
Yeah, and I feel like the more mistakes you have, the quicker you learn. Like,
Yes.
yeah, if you have mistakes, you'll probably get it right next time, and that's how it goes. Like, if you never
Yeah.
try, you never improve.
And if you don't get it the next time, you get it the time after that. But eventually it's going to work. Like I don't know the difference in Spanish between a star and ser. So like instead of if I say yo estoy versus soy, the verb to be, like in English, we just have the verb to be,
Mhm.
but there's different types of being in Spanish. And
Same in
I messed it up.
Portuguese.
Okay, so what do kids when they're learning to speak? How do they like when you have a little toddler? You teach them that way, like how it's just practice. So that's the only
Yes,
way to get it.
yes,
But no kid,
absolutely.
none of us are born knowing all the words. Otherwise, we come out, it takes a long process to get a vocabulary behind us, and no matter what language. So just practice and have fun. Life's too short to worry about missing prepositions or, oh, you said a double negative. Okay, next time I won't.
Like, I don't know nothing about it.
Right, there you go. I
Then,
don't know nothing about
like, I'll say it again. Not just kidding.
it.
Uh, and especially in English where it makes no sense.
See?
And thank you so very much. I want to thank you in the name of everybody that follows you and that appreciate your work because you
Well, thank
help
you.
so many people. And it's just amazing the way you do it, the positivity, the energy, the happiness, and your uh, willingness to help and to be nice. It's remarkable. So thank you so much for it.
Oh, well, thank you. You're very kind. No, it's the easiest thing in the world. And I tell the kids at school, kindness costs you nothing. Absolutely nothing. Like if you have no money, it costs you nothing to be kind. So be kind. And you hear that, it's like killing with kindness. I don't try to do that. But I mean, it's what else in the world costs you absolutely nothing? Because you don't know, somebody might be having a bad day and you just give them that, like, hey, nice to see you. And that might be all it takes for their day to turn around.
That is very true.
So you never know what's going on in people, and just being nice to them helps. And it helps me because I don't want to be depressed. I tried teaching math one time and I had a headache. So it didn't, like, I got a headache because I was mad that I was teaching math. And so I was like, never again.
Happiness. Yeah.
Yeah.
And thank you for this message. Kindness costs you nothing.
Yeah.
So
That's
I
nothing.
appreciate it. And I appreciate you being here and talking to
Thank
me.
you. Well, no,
I
thanks for having
hope people out there enjoy this message and learn from all you taught us today
me. Okay.
and keep going because you help so many people.
Well, thank you. I will give it my best. And thanks for having me on. And I know that we'll be in touch more. And this was great. I loved it. So I hope lots of people hear it and say hi to everyone. And obrigada. Did I say it right?
Yes, you got
There
it.
you go.
You're almost fluent in Portuguese now.
There you go. I start with one word. There we go.
That's amazing. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next